Good morning, everybody. Happy Australia Day long weekend. I know most of you might still be sleeping in, this being the last long weekend before the kids go back to school. We've been hanging around the house pool. Actually, Melbourne's set for 7 or 8 days of beautiful weather. So after my Monday morning routine, I'll be back to public holiday mode with the kids as we get them ready for school this week. I've got one, and the last one starting school in prep this Thursday, and that's very exciting to experience life with all children in school, and not have her around Mondays and Fridays around the house, and being able to get a lot more done as well. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. Take all the first day of school photos, and I've got it all planned out. And as much as they hate some of them doing it, it's an exciting time, and they'll know what it's like when they have their own kids. So this morning I thought, why not talk about the challenges and problems that may arise in our lives and businesses over this year. As of course we know that life and business is not all smooth sailing. There's going to be things that happen that are going to prevent us from gosh, whenever I'm on live, I don't know which way my fringe is going because it's all mirror reflected. But as we embark on this year, there is going to be things that pop up, and perhaps, in the past you've solved your problem in a different way, or challenges. Here I'm just as a few ideas. I'm going to speak about a few different ideas of how I tackle a problem or a challenge when it arises in my life or business. Good morning, Joy and Susie and Viv and Jan. There's lots of people coming on live. So before we get stuck into the content, 9 o'clock's just clicked across. I'll just do my shares, and I really got to get you, Viv, to start doing this for me. I know I taught you like a year ago how to do this, but I know you watch my lives every Monday, so I should get you to do this so I don't get distracted. All right, let me just share it across to a couple of groups, and then we're going to get going with my top 10 list. I love coming up with my top 10 lists. They keep me on track. I hope I don't run out of time to say everything I want to say. All right, so let me do one more share, and then we'll get into it. All right, cool. I was thinking whether or not I should do a live this morning, being a public holiday, but I love my Monday morning routine. I just feel like the week is really starting. I was just saying to Stuart before, I go, they should do public holidays on Fridays. Seriously, Friday is a much more chilled out day where people want to have finished work. I said, I don't know about this Monday public holiday thing. So I'm up for changing it to Fridays if anyone has the power to do so. And I think that would be, finished on Thursday, because I haven't actually worked Fridays for many, many years. And I kind of pick up my emails, but I don't host events or don't book any appointments or chats and all that sort of stuff on Fridays. So I think, if you're up for having public holidays on Fridays rather than Mondays, maybe comment and see if we can start a movement, because I think it ties in a little bit better. I feel like you always have to be hi Tash, finally I can join live as not at work. There you go. Well, obviously some of you who are at working, you can't do my live on a Monday morning if you're at work, so that's a positive. I love Mondays from Joy. All right, well, back to what we're going to talk about today, and that is problem and challenge solving hacks for business and life this year. And obviously, is the way you have solved problems in the past frustrating you? I know I used to be such a hothead, such a reactive person when something would happen, and just really get myself worked up, and wouldn't be able to think clearly, and would go into blame mode and all that kind of stuff, all of those things that happen when we encounter a roadblock. We go through those, denial, anger, blame, depression, and then ultimately acceptance and resurgence. However, to get to those, we need to have some tools to be able to deal with them. So we're going to talk about some tools, but we're going to talk about some practical stuff as well. So the one thing I've learned, and after just mentioning how I used to solve my problems or get over my challenges, you know, by causing myself a lot of, you know, angst within, one thing I have learned is, and I have done this for the last decade. So this was me, obviously in my 20s when I was really, really fiery. In my 30s, I very much through my personal development work and, you know, experiencing and getting wiser and all that kind of stuff, I decided and actually chose my state when a problem arises to really, really stay neutral. Okay, neutral and calm, as they say. Stay calm, stay calm. You're not going to have to solve any problem if you are frustrated or angry or whatever it is. And there's one little saying, I don't know where I came across it, but the saying was, gosh, my fringe is giving me the shits this morning. It just doesn't look right. It just looks weird on the camera. Okay, so the problem, the saying that I discovered a little while ago, I don't know who said it or whatever, but it's that the end result will always be the same, yeah? So whether you get frustrated or stressed or angry, whatever it is the outcome will always remain the same. So whenever a surprising problem or challenge arises, I remember to stay calm and just have a few breaths and then tell myself whether I stress or don't stress, the end result will always be the same. So I just have to figure out what my next step is. A little, when this comes very, very helpful is when I misplace stuff, when I lose stuff, or, you know, and you get, sometimes it can be something really valuable. To tell you the story, for the last 12 months, I have left my phone in a shopping trolley in Bunnings and in that other Masters, whatever that shop was. Went home, realized, remembered, and remained calm. And just, I think I left it in a shopping trolley back at the Bunnings, and just drove back and found, or asked at the desk, and both times found my phone. The other day, a couple of Saturdays ago, I left my Prada sunglasses in a Country Road change room where I was trying on some new dresses for the new speaking gigs, and then sat in the car afterwards to drive home, and I go, oh, where are my sunglasses? So I looked through all the shopping bags, and I go, reversed my, didn't freak out, just reversed my steps. I go, where could I have left them? I know I was taking stuff off, and therefore I had to take them off my head. And just walked back to Country Road. Tried calling them first from the car park to make sure they're there, so I didn't have to walk all the way back because Chadstone's super huge. And I go, okay, I'm either going to find them or I'm not going to find them. So I just may as well. The end result will always be the same. Luckily, I did. What I have found, though, by staying calm, say when losing stuff, is I can think where it was, what happened, rather than going, oh my God, this happened, this is how much this is going to cost me to replace it, like creating all the stories around my head. So this is just a little practical kind of thing, what to do if you do lose stuff. But also in business, you know, if we don't stay calm, we can execute an action that actually may not be the best one, because the best time to make a decision of what the next step is when you're in a neutral state. When we're too excited or we're too depressed, if you want to call it that way, up or down, too up or too down, it's definitely not a place to make decisions from. One of my people that I have followed for many years, I learned that particular thing. Never make decisions from a highly heightened state or too low a state. Because obviously when we're highly excited, we can commit to something that is not good for us, or perhaps doesn't serve us at that point. Or when we're too low, we can give up on something because we think it's too hard. So it's really, really important to make a decision, especially around solving a problem or a challenge, from a neutral state, when you really, really feel neutral. And this is where the first tip that I was saying, stay calm, because in staying calm, you are remaining in a neutral state and not freaking out, and therefore able to think about what are the next logical steps, or perhaps thinking of what happened, how it happened, and then solving it moving forward. All right, so that's my number one thing. Number two, some business problems that we have, or perhaps we put up with too long, can be solved by technology. Okay, and sometimes we don't know what that tool might be and what that hack and things like that. But the best thing to do is, if you do have a challenging business problem, why not go into some of the amazing Facebook groups that are out there and actually tell people what it is and see what suggestions come up. And usually there is a tool around how you can solve that particular problem. And then you go off, learn it, and you might be saving yourself a ton of time and effort and manual work. That's something that an IT tool or app can help you solve. So generally look into technology if it's something that in your business you feel is too manual, too, just kind of old school, and you're sick of doing it. And usually, when do we solve a problem? When something becomes super, super frustrating and too hard to do. Okay, so look towards technology. So this is away from the mindset thing. Now it's like, well, is it something, or maybe even review this week. Are there some things that I'm doing in my business that an app or a tool or a virtual assistant or someone that I can outsource to can actually help me and win me back so much of my time? Because I know by learning how to use more applications, more tools, and apps and things like that, I have been able to make my life a whole easier. Even to the point, like an example would be using Uber Eats when we're doing our half-day events in various cities around the country. So we're in a hotel. Around the hotel, there's nothing too much there. And we really need to get food by a certain time because we haven't had lunch till, like, say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon with Stuart. But being able to know how to use Uber Eats, I can pre-order my food to be delivered at a certain time at a location where I don't know what anything is around. That was kind of like a lifesaver in terms of staying well nourished and just having things that are not available to me when I know the area. All right, so the next one is, and this is for business owners, but a perfect place to solve challenges and problems in business is to be part of a business mastermind group. Sometimes if you do have a team within your business that works together, you can use each other as a mini mastermind group because you kind of know the business's challenges and what goes on, and everyone thinks in different directions. But the beauty of a mastermind is being part of one, especially when you're like a solo owner and you're the only person doing everything in your business, is to be part of a group. And the kind of the easy way to go about being part of one, it doesn't have to be an official mastermind group, but if you join and are part of a networking group that you go to regularly, okay, and the more frequent the better, because if it's a month-to-month one, it's too long apart to sort of talk to too many people about what problems and things you may have and need solving. For me, for my first 3 years of my business, I was part of BNI. And going there weekly enabled me to get solutions to various problems, whether it was bookkeeping problems, legal stuff, because the other experts in the group were business owners that could solve that. And therefore, just by having conversations and being around them, I was able to find answers to what I needed to. So being part of something like that is not an official mastermind group, but you can go that next level up and join a paid mastermind group where everyone is committed and turning up and sharing ideas. And the beauty of mastermind groups is because your brain only thinks in a certain way or direction or style, if you like. However, when you get a group of people, they start looking at it from all sorts of different directions and solve a problem. What is it? One of my authors had this quote from her mum in her book, Melanie Taylor: "A problem shared is a problem halved." Her mum was famous for saying, which is exactly what you're doing in a mastermind or a networking situation. You're sharing your problem and other people are kind of going, well, have you thought about this? Have you done this? Da, 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 da. And they really start to give you some ideas. Don't be scared. One of my other points on here is, and it goes to a similar thing, but don't be scared to ask for help. Asking for help doesn't mean you're weak. And actually, if you ask other people for help, they like you more. how does that work? Because people like to feel useful and valuable to others. So if you actually ask family and friends for help, or even, you know, strangers, that it's been said that if someone helps you, they end up liking you more. It's a little hack also that I learned, you know, being as a speaker, if you ask your audience for a small favor and actually, you know, do it for you, they end up growing more to like you moving forward. Again, something I've learned through listening to people and learning different strategies on how to engage and obviously work with people in human behavior. So join a mastermind group, at the very least a networking group where you are having many different other experts and business owners that know their stuff that you might have challenges around, or a paid mastermind group, especially if you want to keep evolving and getting your business to the next level. Ensure that if you are going to go into a paid mastermind group, that you also that there is people ahead of you and behind you on their journey to success or whatever business growth is, so that you can get the value of, you know, obviously other people showing you what the way forward might be, how you can think bigger, but you can also help the ones that are perhaps behind you. And sometimes you got to start just being the person that's most behind and is just starting out in the group, but make sure that you don't end up being the smartest person in the group, or the most successful, that you have others that are going to challenge you. Okay, number 4 for me was to hire an expert. If it's a big enough problem that that it's going to take me a ton of time to solve, learn, and figure out how to do myself, the best thing is to actually look for someone who has already solved it, is solving it for other people, and make the investment to just nip it at the bud. Okay, some problems and challenges are smaller, you can manage them yourself. Others you can ask for help and get a group to help you out and all that. But there is some things that you must hire an expert for. If you don't, by the way, everyone can do everything, right? If you're willing to learn, you're willing to spend time, you know, figuring something out, you can do it by yourself. But how much is your time valued, you know, and what stage of your business are you at right now? So it's really important to know, you know, when to just gonna go, no, I want this problem going in 5 minutes. So I'm going to invest and get someone to help me, because I'm not an expert at this thing, and neither do I need to be. So therefore, I'm going to hire someone to get me to do that. Early in your business, when you're cash poor and time rich, of course you're going to invest more of your time figuring stuff out and being frustrated and learning new tools and ways of doing stuff. And of course that's you know, that's how you kind of make do until a point that you can reinvest. So when you're later on in your business and you're time poor but cash rich, then you need to really figure out where is your time best used, because otherwise you can end up not having a life if you're constantly trying to work stuff out yourself. That's not obviously why you signed up to start your business, because otherwise it would have been you know, you may as well have stayed in a job if you're going to, you know, be focused on it 24/7 rather than also having the lifestyle behind it. All right, the following one is a little bit of also a mindset one, and that is to stop and really think where perhaps the blessing is in this problem or challenge that you have just been faced with. So where is the blessing? Because through our problems is how we grow. Through our challenges is how we get better, wiser, and how we actually are able to evolve to next levels and, you know, be a higher quality business owner, better improve our products, services, all that sort of stuff. Good morning, Zelda. So really, really important to, every time there is a problem, you know, once the heated period of, you know, what's going on and you're sorting through it, to stop and actually go, well, where was the blessing in this? What did this teach me to avoid in the future, or perhaps how I can do things differently, or maybe what I should stop doing and what I should start doing. So really in every single challenge there is a blessing. It's just really hard to see when that challenge is upon us. Okay, so the following one, well, it basically says no challenges, no growth. So if you're going through life thinking everything is content and happy and there's no challenges, then are you really stepping outside of your comfort zone and looking to grow and evolve yourself? So really, really important to know that no challenge equals no growth. So this is tied in with the other one. Okay, so another hack that you guys know that I like to do things fast. You know, I don't want to muck around. I just make a decision, get it done, move on to the next thing. Make a decision, get it done. Same thing when a problem arises, and usually problems and challenges can stop us in our tracks. You're going about your daily activities, you're doing this, you're doing that, and all of a sudden something pops up left field, and you're like, you know, I have to solve this before I can go on. You know, some of those things that might be, it could be technology, you know, failing. If the internet now stopped working and my life stuffed up, I would have to go figure out what's going on. Can I hotspot it to my phone? Can I do something different? How can I come back on this live, you know, which has happened many times in the past before. So when a problem or a challenge arises, don't play the ignorance is bliss card, yeah? It's really, really important to solve fast and move on, yeah? So I will stop everything that I'm doing. I will calmly figure out what solution I need to find, who do I need to ask, where do I need to inquire, and I want it solved and off my pending, you know, inbox. And this is what I was talking about to my guys, my authors. We had a full-day masterclass last week on technology and marketing for authors, and we were talking about inbox zero and how a thing gets touched, once dealt with, and let's get on with it. So I never, especially when it comes to any you know, sensitive queries or challenges, problems that come up, I never wanted to sit on anything that is pending. Okay, so I tackle it, I work it out, and I move on to ensure that whatever I could have done as the next step. Sometimes it's not possible to solve a challenge or problem immediately, but we can all take immediate step one towards resolving it, towards finding out a solution around that particular problem and challenge. Or we all can take a step one. I zeroed my hundreds of emails. Yay, good on you, Zelda. We had inbox zero challenge, and everyone had to share their screenshots of their empty inboxes and then maintain it, checking it twice a day on weekdays and having the weekend off and keeping it at zero ongoing. Okay, so don't ignore it. Solve it fast, move on, or at very least take step one towards what is it going to be to, you know, the solution towards this. And Moana's there too. All right, so the following one is to ask yourself 3 key questions. Now, these 3 key questions I learned from Tony Robbins, and I've memorized them myself, and I share them with my authors at their retreat, at the mindset segment, which is the very last segment we do on the Sunday. And because we are all hunky-dory when nothing is wrong, like when everything is going our way and we're on top of the world, we're feeling invincible. But when a problem or a challenge stops us in our tracks, we can really be derailed, right? We can really feel all the emotion behind it and frustration and why did this happen, da, da, da. And the first unresourceful question that happens within us is we ask the question of, what does this mean? Okay, and the minute we ask, what does this mean? Well, what that means, you know, it sends us to a negative answer. So if you're going to ask that question, you know, perhaps ask it 7 or 8 more times and come up with 7 or 8 more unique answers, because I'm sure by the time you have asked, what does this mean, the 7th or 8th time, you are bound to come up with something more resourceful that will serve you. So that's one of the questions to avoid, but here are the 3 key ones that I share with my authors. One is, what, no, I've forgotten. Okay, I'll tell you that. No, I've got it. How can I use this? I know I've got them memorized now, I'm on the spot. How can I use this is question number 1. So when you say, how can I use this? You're looking for a useful way that this challenge and problem will help you progress forward. Number 2 question is, what's funny about this? And the minute you say the word funny, I bet you're going to have a smile on your face, because all of a sudden your brain is starting to think about, where is the funny in all of this? Yeah. Where is the funny? You're looking. So, like, don't think of a pink elephant. You keep thinking of a pink elephant. What's funny about this? You keep thinking towards the funny thing. And the third question is what will I think about this in 5 to 10 years time? What will I think about this in 5 to 10 years time? And the minute you ask that question, you take yourself, future pace yourself to 5 to 10 years time, and all of a sudden your brain goes, will I even freaking remember this? So you start to feel, lighter about it. Okay. And by asking yourself those 3 questions, perhaps now you're in a more neutral state and not as freaked out about what has just happened and evolved, and you will feel more able to take the next step and figure out what that very next step is. Okay, it's really good if there is a problem or challenge, you need to respond to someone, because in response of what they've presented to you, it's really good to stop and actually go to a fellow person in your business or a close friend or someone you can confide in, and run by your response by that person, in case you want to just check that it's not too emotional, that it's not too charged, that it's got facts in there, so that you don't start a fight or an emotional kind of thing. You want to stay, again, as neutral as possible. And so I always either run stuff by Viv or Stuart, and before I click send on anything that I think is a little bit more sensitive, and I want to make sure, how does this sound to you, or am I just using a tone that is not very good, or all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really good, because you'll kick yourself if you say something that you didn't mean to say at that time, but you were highly charged, and that's why you kind of wrote it or said it. So those are really, really useful questions to write down and pull out, and even memorize in due course to use when you feel that there's something that's going to really has just challenged you. And the last tip that I have today for you around solving problems and challenges is to ensure that once a year that you do sit down, and once or twice a year, and reflect upon all of the frustrations that you may be embarked on that year, and see, because this happened, now you've got the blessing of hindsight. So in hindsight, was making this decision the right thing, or what did this make me do, and what tangent did it actually divert me to that is actually really, really good for me? Because within the moment, within 2 weeks, within 4 weeks, perhaps everything is just still way too fresh to reflect upon, and the blessings cannot be seen. But say 12 months later, whatever happened in February or January this year, you will stop and you go, oh my God, by doing this is where I have arrived. By making this decision, by collaborating with this person, it was so frustrating to work with them, but it taught me how, or what to do and not do when I'm collaborating with the next person. So it's really, really important to look at those things, because you will have grown and moved so far forward in terms of what kind of a person and business owner you are. So look, I hope that this has been valuable, and always remember that being and feeling uncomfortable, and that feeling of don't know what I'm doing, is also often a sign that you're about to go through a breakthrough and get to the next level. So what did I say? Break down to break through. We need to all break down to have a breakthrough, and it's so true in life. So make sure that you, the biggest thing is stay calm. Learn that no matter what, the end result will always be the same. So, if you value your nerves and, and you want to conserve, and reduce your stress in your life, just choose to believe that, it's all about choice. It's whether we choose to blow out. Like I don't get me wrong, I don't stay calm all the time. I've still got the fiery gnat within me that can just have a hissy fit, and totally know that I'm doing it, and I do it with choice. And just because, I want to prove something right, and you cannot be calm all of the time. So it's okay not to be calm all of the time. We're all human. And sometimes we don't want to have self-awareness. We don't want to take responsibility. We just want to blame other people, and it's okay. But as long as we play with the 80-20 rule, where we are taking self-responsibility, we're managing our emotions, we're looking at things in a calm way and taking those next steps, then that's what counts at the end of the day. It's all about, what is it, moderation. But of course, yeah, the 80-20 rule. And I always say, nothing is perfect. And if you try to be that, like sometimes I have tried, like always to be calm, cool, collected, self-aware, taking responsibility, it can become exhausting as well. So sometimes you need to blow your fuse and just do it. And of course, be aware that there might be consequences. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. And if you only joined on late on the call, go back, watch the half an hour. There's lots of little mindset and practical hacks and tips on how to solve your problems and challenges as we're embarking on the real part of 2020 after kids start back at school and we are into full swing and routine of our lives and businesses. And, and thank you. Say thank you to your problems and challenges, because without them, life would be boring and business would be boring. So I'll talk to you guys next Monday. Have a wonderful week and smash it out.